longer bit to start with, and we'll see how we're doing for time. I can either read you another slightly longer bit or a very short bit with Jamie and Claire. We'll be sure to end up with them. But this particular one, this is still set in North Carolina toward the beginning of the book, and it's not particularly a spoiler for any of those of you who are avoiding those. Jamie and Claire are intending to leave to go to Scotland, but they haven't left yet. And one of the reasons they haven't left yet is that Lizzie Beardsley is pregnant with her second child. And they're waiting for the child to be born because Claire needs to be there for the labor. Not only would she like to be generally, but this baby is stuck sideways, which is not good. And she's tried to turn it, and it did turn, but then it turned back, which is exactly what my third child did. And that's why she was born by C-section. But anyway, this is not really available to her at this point because she doesn't have ether anymore, and you don't want to do a C-section on someone who's conscious if you don't have to. And she's kind of worrying about it. If the worst happens, is she going to try to save Lizzie or the child? And if it turns out to be totally infeasible, and she's going to save Lizzie because of her other child and her two husbands and all that, then she might have to kill the baby and deliver it piecemeal, which is what they did. They would puncture the skull to drain the brain out so you could get the head down, and then you would just take it out in pieces with a sharpened wire. So she's really worried about all this. And so finally one of the Beardsley twins shows up and says, now, come now, in the middle of the night. And so she set off in a snowstorm, and leaving Jamie behind with his rosary and instructions to pray. "How long has she been at it?" I asked. You could never tell, but Lizzie's first labor had been fast. She delivered little Rodney quite alone and without incident. I didn't think we were going to be that lucky tonight, though my mind couldn't help hopefully envisioning an arrival at the cabin to find Lizzie already holding the new baby, safely popped out without difficulty. "Not long," he panted. "Her waters came all of a sudden when we were all abed, and she said I best come fetch you at once." I tried not to notice that, all abed. After all, he and or Kezzy might have slept on the floor. But the Beardsley menage was the literal personification of double entendre. Nobody who knew the truth could think of them without thinking of... I didn't bother asking how long he and Kezzy had both been living at the cabin. From what Ian had said, they'd likely both been there all the time. Given the normal conditions of life in the back country, no one would have blinked at the notion of a man and his wife living with his brother. And so far as the general population of the Ridge was aware, Lizzie was married to Kezzy. She was. She was also married to Joe as the result of a set of machinations that still caused me to marvel, but the Beardsley household kept that fact quiet on Jamie's orders. "Her pap will be there," Joe said, breath pluming white as he pulled alongside me where the trail opened out, "and Auntie Monica. Kezzy went to fetch him." "You left Lizzie alone?" His shoulders hunched defensively, uncomfortable. "She said to," he said simply. I didn't bother replying, but hastened my step until a stitch in my side made me slow a little. If Lizzie hadn't already given birth and hemorrhaged or had some other disaster while alone, it might be a help to have Auntie Monica, Mr. Weems' second wife, to hand.